Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is Cataclysm Crew Issue 3, A Very Merry Unbirthday. On the cover, the team gathers around a picnic table with a birthday cake on it. A pterodactyl flies off in the background, Alan's full of presents, while children in party hats point on in distress. Squire blows out the candles. We turn the page and our story begins. This game begins not with a full group, but with Etheril alone. Or rather, not alone. She's in a room with some computer light. It's pretty foreboding, dark. We see a shadowy figure in the background of the room as Etheril is quickly working on the computer. And then the lights turn on. And we see that it's the head nurse at the hospital who is holding a mop and a broom. She offers them to Etheril and says, "If you're gonna be here, at least make yourself useful. There's a spill on the second floor. Lots of blood. I'd be careful." And then she walks out. Etheril, what do you do?
I take the mop and broom and then I hand it off to the nearest pleb that I see.
Great, so there's a high school intern walking through. She's probably about 5'0", pretty mousy, small, frail. Her first day was the day of the attack from the MMM. And then you come in and just kind of like press this broom and mop into her hand, and this poor girl looks like she's about to start crying. But she walks down to the second floor and does it as you walk back to the room where there was the computer. It looks like you were doing some sort of inventory. A notification pops up on the computer that a bunch of like fertility medicine is missing in the inventory. It may have gone missing when the MMM attacked last week, or it may have gone missing in other times. But before you have a moment to do anything about that, to check it out, your communicator beeps, and it is Max. Max, why are you calling or texting Etheril?
How long is this after the movies?
The movies were on Saturday. This is like Tuesday, so like 3 days.
Okay, and have there been reports of this pterodactyl? Like, has anyone seen it since?
Yeah, that's actually probably why you're texting. There was a big report that just came out. A big news story about a pterodactyl that crashed a 5-year-old's birthday party.
Awesome.
It picked the cake up and then flew away. And it didn't do anything else. It didn't hurt anyone, but it did steal the cake. And there's a clip of it on the news of this little boy crying, really devastated about the fact that his birthday cake went missing.
So yeah, the general tone of the text message is very excited. We should go take this thing down.
Why should we take it down?
You just get you get a response of 6 pterodactyl emojis and 6 fire emojis, and that's it.
Is this a group chat, Max? Is Amber involved in this one?
Yeah, and on my phone at least, the group chat is called Super Friends.
Fantastic. So we've all just gotten texts with 6 pterodactyl emojis and 6 fire emojis.
Machina sends some emojis. There's 2 fist ones for punching, and then there's a lightning bolt.
Oh, I'm so into it.
So I'm just gonna do joint and then a guy who looks unimpressed. A meth face, if you would. And I'll send that back.
Great. So are you all going to go meet up? Try to meet somewhere? Or are we just going to text about this?
I mean, do we know where it was last seen?
It was last seen in a park in Moon Harbor Central.
And how long ago was that?
That happened within the hour. There's a 24-hour news cycle, so it happened pretty quick.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
they might still be there.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot a text on the way, looking for clues. And then I will, heroically get on a bus.
Fantastic. Does anyone travel in any other way? Does anyone fly or catch a train?
Machina lives close-ish, so she just hops on one of those rentable scooters.
I fly.
Awesome. We all make it to the park safely. When we get there, there's about 15 news cameras. Most of them are doing interviews, that kind of thing, but a few of them from smaller news companies are clearly pointed at the sky, trying to see if they can see something. Amber, you see someone who looks very familiar. It's another student from your high school. Who are they and what are they doing there?
It's somebody who we're not friends, but we have like three classes together. So like we know each other, and sometimes we have to work on projects together, but like we're not friends. It's a guy. His name is Matt. The kid who's got the cake stolen, that's his little brother.
Fantastic. Yeah, Matt looks really aggressive right now. He looks like he's like about ready to throw down.
When you say that you and Matt are not friends, do you mean like, oh, we're not friends, or do you mean like we are not friends?
Just like we haven't really hung out outside.
Okay.
Max, do you know Matt as well, or is he a familiar face?
Yeah, I think so. And I think I'm going to go with the we're not friends. I'm not sure what happened, but I think there is something that happened.
Great. So, are you all arriving in costume, out of costume?
Machina's in costume. We
Isn't
actually
it-
knew ahead of time that we were going to go fight something.
Max probably isn't in costume, but like after getting off the bus and seeing the news camera is going to slip off to get into costume.
Fantastic.
I'm not in costume. I'm just doing whatever. I'm in my regular uniform.
Max, you slip off to go get changed. Do you go behind a bush or behind a tree? Do you go to the bathroom? Where are you heading?
Yeah. Like the slipping into the park bathroom, then slipping back out in full costume. Squire out of the bag on, her mask tied on at my feet.
Excellent. So you come out of the stall, just having changed, and there's a little boy there who's staring up at you, wide-eyed. He's very excited, and very intrigued, and very confused. Because you walked in not a superhero, and walked out a superhero. He kind of gives like a half little wave at you. What do you do?
I give him a shit-eating grin and a thumbs up, and Squire does the exact same. And then continue on, like, towards my friends if he doesn't try to stop me. He knows too much.
He cracks this huge grin and goes just running out of the bathroom. And he's like, everyone, Rascal King from the news is here. Rascal King from the news. And you walk out into a crowd of like 9 5-year-olds, all just like staring up at you and just adoring.
Oh, I am eating this up. Like, probably, like, completely lost focus on the mission at this point. Like,
Machina's like face palming a bit.
grabbing Squire and, like, launching Squire into the air and, like, doing, like, having Squire do crazy acrobatic flips and catching her. Like, straight up just, oh, attention, let's cause a spectacle.
Awesome. So Squire's being thrown up in the air, and it's a beautiful day at the park. We're all having a good time. You throw Squire up probably like the 4th or 5th time, and as she lands in your arm, she starts like clawing at you, and very clearly is like, don't throw me up again. You look down, and she is signaling pretty frantically, like gesturing of wings, teeth, scales, trying to get you to figure out something. It's pretty clear that she just saw the pterodactyl. What do you do?
Oh, okay. Well, if Squire is getting serious, Rascal will get serious. He's going to start, like, staring up into the sky.
You look up, and I think everyone looks up, because we've just heard this cry, this animalistic shriek. And we see the pterodactyl come flying in really fast, coming from, like, where the grove of trees is. And for a moment, it looks like it's going to, like, swoop down and attack, but instead it just zips past you and flies away kind of as fast as it can. It looks like it's running away from something, and then when you look towards the direction from which it came, towards the grove of trees, it looks like all of the trees have become vines and are, like, bending and maneuvering and manipulating, clearing a path for this person to come strolling out of the trees. Machina, you're probably closest to the trees there, and you would recognize who this person was. It's a Bronze Age villain, Poison Oak. From what you remember, Poison Oak manipulates plants, and he has a pretty good goal in life. His whole thing is that he wants to, like, fight deforestation, but he goes about it in kind of a bad way by, like, ripping buildings down. What do you all do as Poison Oak starts approaching?
Which direction is he approaching? Is he like going towards like the people, the pterodactyl, like.
So right now, your group is in the park proper. There's a grove of trees between you and the riverbed. He is moving from the grove of trees towards you, and then behind you is Moon Harbor, the city.
I think I'm gonna go up to him, and try to like play on the hey, my dad's a villain side. Maybe I'll know each other and we could be buds.
Excellent. He is walking along the ground, though actually as you look closer, it seems that every time he takes a step, a little tree kind of grows up underneath his feet. So his feet never actually hit the dirt. He comes up to you as you approach him, and he looks down at you. Go ahead and roll to provoke for me. Awesome. Go ahead and mark potential. He looks down at you, and he does recognize you. Your father was active around the same time as he was, and he looks down and says, "Your father was never a real villain. He was a glorified computer." And he gestures with one hand, and a vine just comes up from the ground, wraps around your waist, and pulls you out of his way. Etheril, he's heading towards you now. You're the person probably most directly in his path. What do you do?
I'm gonna ooze out dopamine.
Oh, what's your purpose with that? Are you trying to stop him? Are you trying to attack him? What's your plan?
I'm trying to put him to sleep.
Why don't you go ahead and unleash your powers?
I got an 8.
Great. On a hit, you do it. On a 7 to 9, you can either mark a condition, or I'll tell you how it's unstable or temporary.
It's unstable.
Yeah, it seems to work for now. He weaves a little bit and goes to take a step, but there's no tree underneath him to catch him. And he kind of just tumbles forward, and for a moment it looks like he's down. And then the vines reach around from behind him and pull him to his feet, and he makes direct eye contact with you and says, "Well, seedlings, how fun." And then he launches a series of vines at you. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
We got a 6. Yay, potential.
Awesome, tell me how you weather the blow.
How I weather the blow? I go intangible.
The vines lash out at you just as you go intangible, and they pass right through you. He blinks, he's still pretty groggy from the dopamine, and says, "What did I miss?" Max, you probably had a second to react at this point. What do you do?
So I've still got a bunch of the kids around me, right? How are they all reacting?
There's definitely some fear, some apprehension, but there's also this air of, "You can do it, Rascal King. You can get him. You can kick his butt. You've got this, Rascal King."
I'm gonna step between the kids and Poison Oak, and I'm gonna kind of turn back to them, and be like, "I'm gonna go beat up this villain, but you're all gonna play a fun game called Follow Squire," and point the other way and have Squire start running. Like, "Okay, kids, who can catch Squire the first?" And then just start running towards Poison Oak.
That feels like a roll to provoke. And that's a 9. Yeah, the kids take off running, and they're falling over one another and tripping. It's a bit of a madhouse.
Excellent. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Go ahead and take influence over the kids. Matt turns and looks at you and says, "Dude, what the hell? We're trying to keep them contained, and then you send them off on this wild raccoon chase."
Well, I mean, if you want them closer to him, then I'm just gonna point over at Poison Oak.
He looks at you with a lot of frustration, and then gives an audible huff and takes off after his younger brother and his younger brother's friends. None of them are as fast as the children are. We get a panel of the kids sprinting down the street, and then a close-up on Squire's face, and her eyes are just filled with fear. We shift focus back to the group of you, and the attention from the reporters has turned primarily towards you. A few of them still have the cameras pointed up at the sky, looking after where the pterodactyl has just taken off, but most of them have turned camera to you, and you hear voices saying, Breaking news from a park in Moon Harbor Central. A ragtag, at best, group of heroes is facing off against Poison Oak, the villain from years ago, who we all thought was long gone. Max, you run up, so you're now, like, shoulder to shoulder with Etheril, standing in front of Poison Oak. Machina, you've just been knocked down. You get up pretty easily. The vines aren't, like, pinning you down. They're not trying to hurt you.
Are we entering battle against a dangerous foe as a team?
We absolutely are. So we start off with 2 team. Who's our leader?
You know Rascal's going to take charge, especially with all those damn cameras around.
Yeah, with all the cameras, I think we're just going to let him have this one.
The sun glints off my pearly smile.
So Rascal, do you have influence over everyone?
I do not believe so. I don't think I have influence over Etheril.
Yeah,
Nope.
you have influence over Makida.
Alright, Rascal, what is your purpose in this fight?
To keep civilians safe is like my primary goal.
Ether, what is your goal in fight?
I'm kind of selfish, so for me to not get hurt.
Great, and Machina.
When Poison Oak first came out, it was kind of like, oh shit. But he kind of just insulted her dad, so it's gotten personal.
So then,
That sounds
is
like a
your goal
no.
to hurt him? What's your goal there?
I think kind of a mix of like, I guess she can't really prove him wrong, like right now, but I think she kind of wants to like throw in a few punches.
Reasonable.
Fantastic. I would say that's probably not the same goal. Does any member of the team mistrust the leader or the team?
I don't.
I don't.
No.
Great, I'm going to say you're not ill-prepared or off-balance. You were coming in to fight the pterodactyl.
We're all in costume this time.
Yeah.
So that puts us at 3 team this time. And as you all square off to face off against Poison Oak, we're suddenly going to cut away to an interior panel of a building. A call-out box tells us that we are inside Saber headquarters. We get a panel of this tall, broad-shouldered woman whose skin is ice white. She's standing and talking to someone we can't see yet, and she says, "Those children are back at it again. They think they're defending the city. Remember what we talked about? Do you think you'll be ready?" And then we're going to turn and see Alan standing there. Alan, you would recognize this figure, as most of our readers would as well, as Glacier, aka Annika Snow, who was a Golden Age hero and is now the director of Saber. Behind her, there's a TV screen with the heroes facing off against Poison Oak. She turns her ice blue eyes to you and says, "Are you ready?"
Yes, ma'am, I am ready.
Excellent. Then we'll have a car drop you off. She snaps her fingers and a garage door opens, and behind it is this truly spectacular sports car. Sitting in the driver's seat is a hero everyone would recognize as Missing Links. In the passenger seat is Boost, and the back seat is completely open. They gesture for you to get in.
I get in, and yeah.
On the next page, we get a full-page spread of the car, as driven by Missing Links, speeding out of Saber headquarters, with smoke trailing behind it. And then we cut back over to the crew in the park. Machina, you're behind Poison Oak. Etheril and Rascal King are in front of him. What do you do?
Is Poison Oak like supported by like plants? Like what is the foliage situation?
He's standing on what looks like small trees that have risen up out of the ground. They're not quite saplings, they're pretty solid, but he is standing upon them.
Are there any like vines?
The vines are swirling around him, both growing from the ground and from the trunks at his feet, but there are no vines attached to him directly.
How close are we to that grove of trees?
You're probably about 100 yards away from the trees.
So it's decently clear where we all are, other than what's right around Poison Oak.
Yeah, the only thing really near you right now is the bathroom.
That's a good changing room if anyone needs one.
I think Amber's just gonna fucking like run at him and jump like on his back like a piggyback ride.
Great, let's call that directly engaging a threat. Go ahead and roll plus danger.
Cool. 7.
Cool. On a 7 or 9, you can pick one.
Create an opportunity for your allies.
Great. So you tackle him from the back. You knock him off balance, and he kind of stumbles forward. And then his vines pick you up from, like, over your shoulders. And then he lifts you in front of his face, and he draws his fist back like he's about to punch you. But because of that opportunity, one of your teammates probably has a chance to get in there before he hits you.
Well,
How tall is he?
He's about 6'6", but he's standing on tree trunks that are about 6 to 7 inches tall, so he stands at about 7 feet.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to take my fingernails. I'm going to ram them into Rascal and inject testosterone and adrenaline into him so he can have boosted strength and be a lot more self-aware and a lot more focused.
All right. I just got dosed.
Alright, so I'm gonna say,
I'm like a 15-year-old
Yeah.
juicer now.
Rascal King, you get a rush of energy. We get a close-up on your face, and we see your pupils go regular size to just massive.
Can I throw a couple like panels around that panel?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like I want the panel of like Rascal's face, this like complete betrayal and shock, and then like the close up of the nails stabbing in the butt, and then that face of the whoosh, and then oh, and like I immediately want to run at and like jump on the back of Poison Oak and try to like grab his arm and hold him from punching, like hold him back from punching Machina.
Let's call that a defend roll. But I'll give you a +1 to that for the injection of energy from Etheril.
Are you sure you want to give me a +1?
Yeah, take it. So yeah, he throws his fist up and is about to punch Machina. And then you grab his fist so hard that you spin him off his little tree platforms. He kind of stumbles to the ground.
I would like to take influence over someone I protected.
Great, go ahead.
I'm taking influence over Machina again.
Oh, can you do that more than once?
If you take influence over someone you already have influence over, you immediately shift their labels.
Cool.
So while I've got his like hand held back, I'm gonna like yell out to Machina, you've got him, you can take him down. And abridged wise, what I'm doing is raising your danger and let's say lowering your mundane.
Okay.
Just right now I see you as just like fury and anger and the spirit of fighting.
Dope.
And you can choose to resist that if you want.
She's not going to resist it.
Okay.
She's kind of like really impressed by that.
Alright, Machina, you were almost just punched in the face. You saw your life flash before your eyes for a second. His skin is made of bark, and as you know from when he was active when you all were children, Poison Oak is roughly 600 years old. Poison Oak was a Viking whose ship left him in the 1400s, who befriended the plants in the area and was kind of kept alive by them. And then in the Industrial Revolution, he was buried under concrete where he stayed for about 100 years, until in the early 2000s he rose to fight again.
Oh, so like Moon Harbor just kind of grew up around him?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Nice.
Poison Oak was also known as Leaf Barkson, and has lived in Moon Harbor since before there was a Moon Harbor. All that to say, you saw this damn near immortal being almost punch you in the face. And then Rascal King pulled his fist away and told you you were great, so what do you do?
She's definitely like super impressed and kind of like, oh, that's really sweet. It's like, where is she physically?
You're probably about 5 feet in front of him, or 3 feet in front of him, held up by the vines, so your feet are probably about 2 feet off the ground.
Machina's gonna like grab the vines and just send a surge of current through them to see if that's gonna do anything.
I'm gonna say that feels like rolling to unleash your powers, so go ahead and roll plus freak.
5.
Great, mark potential. You do send a surge of electricity through the vines, and they let you go. And then a vine is going to wrap around your hand and just yank you ridiculously far back towards the grove of trees. And by extension, away from your friends. Our next panel, we're going to see the car again. It's probably about 2 blocks away, and Missing Links pulls to a stop. She turns back over her shoulder to look at Tananis and says, "Alright, kid, you're on your own from here. We'll be watching, and we'll jump in if you need help. You all good?
I've got this. Is missing link male, female?
Female.
Missing Links is female, and Boost
Okay.
is non-binary, so...
Okay, just
Oh,
making
nice.
sure I have the right pronoun. I've got this, ma'am. Thank you.
Boost, who has always been a little bit more chill than Missing Links has been, pats you on the shoulder as you get out and says, "You're gonna fucking nail this, yo." Missing Links gives Boost this look of, "Oh my god, you're such a child." And then the door closes behind you. You're probably about 2 blocks away from the park, but you can see them from where you are. What do you want to do?
In the background of that picture, just to set some like panel scene here, is Rascal King still like holding on to Poison Oak?
If you want to still be holding on to him, you can.
Yeah, I like that, and I think that like with one arm, and then the other arm is at this point has his cell phone out. Because I'm gonna start snapping this fight.
And here I thought we didn't have any stars on the team.
Not yet, but I gotta change playbooks eventually.
So in the background of this shot, Alan, we see Rascal King taking a selfie with the partially knocked down Poison Oak, as Machina is being dragged very, very quickly away from him. Alright, Tyrannus, what do you do?
Tyrannus is going to, he just stepped out of the car. He's going to step out of the alleyway, and I want to assess the situation. I want to look across, and I know what I see, but I want to see if I can get a better handle on what's going on.
Great, go ahead and roll plus superior. And on a hit, you can ask one.
I want to ask, how could we best end this quickly?
So if Poison Oak is removed from his connection to any plant life, he loses a lot of his power. So if you got Poison Oak onto stone or like dirt with no plants in it, you could probably knock him out that way. And like most trees, Poison Oak is particularly susceptible to fire, so either of those routes.
Fire also does damage to the city. Okay. Then what I want to do is I want to charge. As I stare, okay, so the panel looks like this. It looks like Tyrannus scans across the field. I guess they're in the middle of a field. I'm assuming, trying to keep up with what
they're in the
exactly
middle of
is
a
going on.
field. Yeah.
And he's going to charge up his powers, which is going to use burn. And
Great.
then he's going to... Well, let me, I guess, roll the burn first.
I know I'm not the GM, but I'm still gonna ask, what does that look like on the page? Because I gotta know the first time someone uses burn.
For him, it looks like electricity starts crawling up his body. And I mean, like, sprouting off his body in every direction. So if he's like at the edge of an alleyway, you see bolts of electricity firing off of him and hitting like a fire escape and whatnot. His eyes begin
What
to
color
glow.
are they?
I'm sorry, what?
What color are they?
They're a blue-green electricity. And they begin firing off in
I'm
every
into it.
direction as he charges his powers.
Great, go ahead and charge your burn for me. And on a 7 to 9, you get 3 burn and mark a condition.
Yes.
Great, so what are you going to mark?
I am going to mark Insecure.
That's what I was thinking too. It's your first mission out there. This is your introduction as a hero. But your burn is charged.
You're showing up with the field with such established heroes as Rascal King. Don't make a fool of yourself.
I want Tyrannus to basically, under full charge, leap into the field. Basically electricity flowing off of him as he does it. And he wants to just channel a bolt of basically straight lightning at Poison Oak to, I guess, I'm not sure what I'm actually trying to do, but most definitely trying to stop whatever he's trying to do at the moment.
Alright, so Poison Oak is currently being held down by Rascal King, and Machina is being dragged away. You are aiming for Poison Oak, correct?
Actually, no, I want to aim for the vines that's dragging. Can I do that? Yeah, can I aim at the vines and cut the
absolutely.
vines using my electricity?
Great, go ahead and roll plus freak.
All
At
right.
least,
Damn,
at least you
alright.
didn't bring your rolls from
Fantastic.
last week, huh?
We then get a panel from Machina's perspective. Machina, you're being dragged away, and then a blast of lightning cuts across you, pretty close to your hands. Not quite close enough to hurt, but close enough that you can feel the buzz.
I don't think it would hurt her though. I feel like for her, it would just be more like an excited buzz, like, ooh.
So the electricity cuts through the vines, and you feel this intense wave of electrical energy. And the vines stop dragging you, and for a second, it's almost like you can feel them scream. Admittedly, that may just be the sound of the vines charring as the electricity cuts through them, but you are now free. We're going to jump back to Etheril for a second. Etheril, you've just watched your friend get dragged away, and then get freed by a mysterious bolt of lightning. What do you want to do?
At that, Rascal King's just catching this all on his Snapchat. He's just completely stopped paying attention to Poison Oak. Just, this is far more exciting, even though Poison Oak is right there.
I'm going to call my station. I have a move called Belong to Two Worlds. And I'm going to ask them for an item, but I have to roll for superior.
Awesome. What does that look like on the page?
So I pressed that little, my moon crescent button that I have on my collar. I'm pressing it sort of like how they do in Star Trek and call in my station, so that they can give me something useful to help me with the current situation. Yay, 13. I'm good at these numbers.
Fantastic. So you get to hold 3.
Yep. Let's see. I'm gonna have a useful use one of my holds to get plus to receive a useful piece of alien tech, which is a flamethrower. The alien or the outsider has heliokinesis, which is a fire ability. The ability to use the sun powers. So,
fantastic. What tech do you already have on you?
I got my uniform, that auto repairs and stuff. So, let's say I have a ring on my middle finger on my left hand that has an onyx stone in it, and that onyx kind of now glows with the power of fire on it now.
Great. So the onyx lights up this fiery red, and you hear a voice in your head from someone on your station who says, "Firepower accessed." What do you do?
I'm gonna ball up the power and compress it, and then I'm gonna have it in this tiny ball, and then just kind of force it out at enough speed that it hits him right in the center of his back, since he's facing away from me.
Great. Let's call that directly engaging a threat. Go ahead and roll plus danger. Alright, so on a 7 to 9, choose 1.
Create an opportunity for my allies.
Yeah, so you catch him in the middle of the back, and there's this howl of pain, and he kind of falls to the side. He knocks directly into Rascal King, not enough to hurt him, but enough to knock his phone out of his hand. So your phone kind of goes scattering to the side. It's grass, so your phone's gonna be fine. And then Etheril, all of a sudden, a trunk of a tree just launches itself out of the ground, kind of on an angle, and hits you directly in the chest. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
I got a 9.
Ooh, I want to spend team to help.
To help him take a powerful blow?
Yeah, to push it to a 10.
You're a dick. On a 7 to 9, you can choose 1.
I'm going to mark 2 conditions and struggle past the pain.
Great, while we resolve that, Rascal King, you've got an opportunity. What do you want to do?
So
you have an opportunity to do
he's
something.
down on his knees at this point, and I'm standing in front of him.
He kind of fell over you, so his shoulder hit you as he fell, so you're kind of behind him and to one side.
Okay, so I'm going to put out a short, sharp whistle. So Squire is going to start running towards me, and I'm going to take a step towards him.
Great.
Look. Sorry, is he on his knee at this point?
Yes, he's on his knees.
Can I be face to face with him? Is what I want.
Yep, you can be face to face with him.
And I'm going to look him in the eyes and just say, "What are you even doing here? What are you trying to do?"
Are you piercing
I'm trying
his
to
mask?
pierce his mask. Yeah.
All right, go ahead and pierce his mask.
Oh God, I went into this being like, I'm a beacon. My mundane's gonna be great, but I forgot that everyone has been shifting my mundane down a lot.
Sorry.
No, you shift your mundane down. I tried shifting your superior down.
All good. Hey, we did it though.
Great. On a 10 plus, ask 3.
Okay. The first and most important one is, how can I gain influence over you?
If you were to help him destroy the city, you could probably gain influence over him that way.
Okay. What are you really planning?
He wants to destroy the city and return it back to the natural forest it used to be.
Okay, and how could I get Poison Oak to leave here today without destroying the city?
It seems like he's pretty angry right now. You might be able to get him to leave if you promise to help him plant some trees or something along those lines. It'd be a stretch, but it might work. The other option, obviously, is to knock him out and have him leave by force.
Okay, and does he actually say anything to the questions I asked out loud?
Yeah, he looks you dead in the eyes and snarls, and he says, "You don't understand what this place used to be. This used to be the most glorious area, and now it's this. Glass and metal like scars coming out of the ground. There used to be life here, and now it's all dead. Of course you don't get it, you're just a kid." And he's trying to shift your mundane up and your superior down.
I actually think I'm gonna just accept that. Like, that rings pretty true. I'm kinda out of my depth discussing, like, man's place in the ecosystem. So you said superior down and mundane up, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm going to, can I have Rascal, Squire get to me at this moment, run up and sit on my shoulder?
Yep, Squire's there. Squire actually, bounces off his shoulder to land on your shoulder.
I'm going to reach my hand out and put my hand on Poison Oak's shoulder and then say, "But look around you. This park is proof that, we're trying to do things better. Things can, we can regrow the trees. We can find a way to make this all work. We can bring back what you love." I'm trying to comfort or support.
Sure. Go ahead and comfort his support. Great. On a hit, they hear you. He kind of softens, and he looks at you, and he says, "I know there are people like you who care, who clearly can commune with nature. But look over there at the city. It's not what it could be. It's not what it used to be. Join me, and we can commune with the animals again. We can let them have their world back." And he offers you a hand, and he's trying to shift your labels again. He's trying to shift your superior up and your danger down.
I want to reject that.
Cool, go ahead.
Yay, I rejected the hell out of that.
It's rejected. On a 10 plus, you can choose 2.
I'm going to cancel their influence and take +1 forward against them.
Great.
I'm going to turn and kind of look out over across everything that's going on, and then reach up to pet Squire and then just throw Squire right in his face while saying, "If you want the animals, here you go."
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Hugh, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at IcyNewYear or at IcyNewYear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter or at TPHuth94 on Instagram. Cataclysm Crew is GM'd by TP Huth. Rascal King is played by me, Anthony Sheets. Machina is played by Elliot Peterson. She can be found at Elliot Yulin on Instagram. Etheril Moon is played by Zweifang. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music of this issue is Mistake the Getaway by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.